Well, we finally have all the pieces for SpaceX's Starship and Heavy Booster. So now we're going to go ahead and get some 3D glue and put it all together. Let that set and dry. Give this a nice lather. Test fitted all these parts. And some of these are stuck together forever. So I'm not going to glue this one. Grid fin. No, not a grid fin, but one of the fins. Fin number 2. Not going to go too crazy with the glue on some of these pieces because they are, tight enough. Let that set and dry. Some of these had some rough overhangs that I'm just going to clean up. So that way it sits nice and flush in the assembly. That should set relatively quickly. And we'll get an idea as to how big this thing will really be once it's all glued up together. Now, of course, on the Starship, we got to get the fins in. So each one of these is set and glued. I guess the question is going to be is how do I want to set these and how do I want to glue these? And then we, of course, have to add in the little grid fins. Fun. That's a little dangerous, but you know what? Add a little weight to it so that way it'll hold down that glue. So we're going to let that set and come back to it in a little bit. So I had to clean out some of the holes for the fins. So those are cleaned out. They do fit in pretty strongly, so I don't have to quite strongly. But you know what? A little glue doesn't hurt anybody. Now it's starting to take shape. We'll test fit these as well to make sure they go in there because I'm going to glue them, but I want to make sure that they actually work and not futz around with glue at the same time. Not really much to glue on here, but it'll be enough. It's not like it's going to be a working model. We're not going to throw this into space, or should we? No. That's it. Uh-oh. Too much glue. So what I love about 3D Gloop, though, this stuff sets pretty quickly, but you can also work with it a little bit as well. So you kind of glue it, let it sit. It's all right. It's not going to fall apart. Now, all that we have to do at this point is basically get the little grid fins on the booster and also the engines. Now, there's not going to be any engines on the Starship because of the way it's going to mount to the Heavy Booster as well. All right, I think it's been dried enough, so let's go ahead and get the one-up off, and let's go ahead and glue the grid fins on the top of this thing up here. Now, I already test fitted these a couple of times because, I had to see what they look like. I didn't want to play with I had to play with it. So I'm not going to retest fit it, but I'm going to glue each one in, give a little bit of glue, and just set it in there like so. Make sure they're even and flush. So that way they're not all jankety. Whoa. Thought that one wasn't going in all right. Close up my 3D gloop. Make sure that it is nice and dry. And again, we're going to let that set. Now, initially, I was going to leave this apart so I could, take these off, but I'm never going to really want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue in the I don't call it the docking clamp, but the fitting that goes on the top of here that'll mount to the Starship as well. So that way it'll be a nice connection. So I'm going to glue that in there because I don't foresee myself ever taking this apart. And if I want to, you know what? I'll just make myself another one. Drop in the top. Now that that's in there, once I mount the Starship, it should lock into place. Well, not so much lock, but it'll be positioned correctly. Oh, I almost forgot. I still got to put the engines in on the Starship. Not on the Starship, on the booster. Should do that now. But actually, I did not glue this piece in. It's actually just press fit in there right now. I couldn't wait. So I glued the rockets to the bottom of the Super Heavy. And now everything's going to sit there and dry. And then we're going to mount them all together and get a first look of what this finally looks like, fully stacked. As I'm sitting here waiting for these bad boys to dry, I'm having second thoughts. Do I glue the Super Heavy and the Starship together, or do I leave them so I can take them apart? I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to hold just the Starship or just the booster. Someone might want to see it and be like, hey, let me see, instead of holding a giant rocket like this. But in the meantime, while this is all setting, I'm going to put it together and show you what it looks like. Check this out. Well, now that they're all glued up, let's stack them for the first time and see how these look together. We've got the Super Heavy all the way ready to go. We got the Starship ready to go. Let's put them together. One-handed. Hopefully I don't knock everything over. And there we go. We got a successful mate. Check this thing out. We got Super Heavy. We've got Starship. And this thing looks incredible. Now I want to know. I wonder if I should build a, what is it, Mechzilla? No, not Mechzilla. Whatever, the launch pad. And there you have it. Completed, stacked, all 3D printed using a Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon. And of course, the FLSun V400. Quality is amazing. It looks great. It's going to be a great addition to my Lego and 3D printed space shuttle. Pretty cool.